Hey guys, insight number 5. So this is in Luke 19 verses 1 through 10, and I've called it known, named, needed, because that's what we all are, aren't we? We are known to God and Christ and our Heavenly Mother as well. We're named and we're needed. Isn't that wonderful? Because how many people could you say in your immediate circle of influence that you have, like whether it's a family or a group of friends or your neighbors or whoever you like, is like close to you, that truly know you, and they probably know your name. Do they call you by a nickname that's special, or so you're named and now you're needed, because that's where we find value in ourselves often, isn't it? Like, it's psychologically known that we know we need to be known, named, and needed. It makes a big difference, especially to young people who are trying to find their identity. Actually, a lot of adults are trying to find that now as well, but trying to find who they are and where they fit. And if they can find somewhere where they feel known, named, and needed, they'll stay, because it means so much to them. And I feel that way with Christ. It's one of the reasons I stayed. But this is the account of Zacchaeus. So let's have a look at Zacchaeus. So Zacchaeus, it says here, was chief among the publicans, and he was rich. So publicans being tax collectors, and he was not hard up. He was quite wealthy. But he sought to see Jesus, who he was, but he couldn't see for the press, because he says he was little of stature. So he's a bit short. So he ran ahead of everybody. He climbed into a sycamore tree to see him, for that's the way he was going to come by, because it's like, I'll get to see him because I'll be up the tree. I just want to know who this guy is. Everyone's been talking about him. I've heard a lot about him. I live in a place where people kind of hate on me because I'm collecting tax for the Romans, which, yeah, wouldn't you too? I don't really like talking with Inland Revenue here in New Zealand, and they're actually obeying laws, and they're still a pain in the neck. So, right, it's a thing. We all know it. Dealing with the tax department's not fun, ever. Even when they give us money back, it's still arduous and hard, right? So, yeah, you can understand why people did not like Zacchaeus. Poor man. But he climbed the tree to be able to see Christ. And I've written in my scriptures, seeing who Jesus really is and what gets in the way of this. If you want to see who he really is, what gets in the way of this? Is there a crowd? Is there a something? Is there a mess between you and the temple? Remember we talked about that? Climb the tree. Get rid of the mess. Climb the tree so you can see Christ. Even if it's a metaphorical tree. You don't have to climb the literal tree. So, in verse 5, and when Jesus came to the place, he looked up and saw him and said unto him, Zacchaeus, make haste and come down, for today I must abide at thy house. And Zacchaeus is probably thinking, he knows my name. But here's Jesus again, looking for those that were excluded, looking for those that couldn't get to him and found creative ways to really want to be near him and see him, showing that their effort in trying to know him was paramount. So he made haste, came down and received him into his house joyfully, like, oh my gosh, you're staying in my house, this is so exciting, wouldn't we be doing the same thing? Oh wow, sorry I didn't clean, sorry that this is that, but you can have the best bedroom, that's just how we'd be too, right? And 7, those that saw it, like the multitude around when they saw it, they all murmured, saying that he was gone to be guest with a man that is a sinner. They're like, he's a tax collector, he's a sinner, he's not a good guy. And Zacchaeus stood and said unto the Lord, behold, he said before he defends himself to the Lord, he's like, behold, Lord, the half of my goods that I have, I give to the poor. And if I have taken anything by any man under false accusation, I restore him fourfold. I don't just give him back twice, I give him back 4 times as much. Because I do not want to be dishonest. I am trying my best to do this job that I have been charged with doing. It is an ugly job to do. It's one where a lot of people are going to hate me anyway just because I'm doing my job. But it's what I got to do. And it's, it is for the good of the people. But, you can see why in those times that a lot of the taxes went back to Rome and built up the empire. Whereas the outlying areas, especially like Jerusalem, there's a lot of people poor and going without, hungry, starving, and the same exists today. We pay taxes to governments to look after the people. Do they really look after the people? Or do we see some things that really shouldn't be there? Even in local body government, where you have a mayor and you pay taxes on property, like we pay what we call rates. on around here, and you look at where they go to, and they're on like beautifying the city, and you think of the artwork that's up on the hill that really just looks like a big stone they stuck there, and so they paid like $1 million to some artist guy to do this, and you're like, yeah, we could have done without that, and you could have given us a better public transport system, like that would have really been looking after the people. And everyone's got a different opinion on that, but that's why they kind of don't like Zacchaeus. That gives some context to that. So anyway, in verse 9, Jesus says unto him, This day is salvation come to this house, talking about Zacchaeus' house, for as much as he is also a son of Abraham. And then in 10, for the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which was lost. And I was like, this is Jesus. That's what he came to do, to seek and to save that which was lost. So yeah, Zacchaeus, known, named. I see you up the tree. Zacchaeus, come down. I need you. Known, named, and needed. So the account of Zacchaeus, who was short and wanted to see Jesus so much he climbed a tree. In verse 5, Jesus, always looking for the excluded, looks up and sees him and invites himself to his house. Like, I'm inviting myself to stay at your house. Happy Zacchaeus, so happy. The crowd murmurs, Zacchaeus defends himself, and Jesus in verse 9 proclaims salvation on Zacchaeus' house. Thank you. Because he really was doing good. He was a good man. In verse 10, we can see that this applies to all of us. This is Jesus. He came to seek and save all that were lost. All of us. Because even if we think, oh no, we're not lost, there'll be some part of us that just needs a little bit more finding, a little bit more acceptance, a little more finding, a little more just wrapping around and loving us as we are. Not that we have to stay that way, but love us as we are. To him, we are all known, named, and needed. So can you help others feel that way? So that they know they're known, named, and needed? How about just even knowing the name of the youth in your ward? That's a big one, because to youth this is really important. Or maybe you see a sister at church or a brother at church every week that sits by themselves, nobody really talks to them, and you're like, oh yeah, there's that brother that wears a blue shirt or something. Go and find his name. Go and find out who they are. Let them know that they're known and named. Call them by name. And find a need for them in your life. Like, just even to say, oh, I'm so glad you're here. And like, mean it. Don't be like superficial with it. Totally mean it. It's just important that we all feel that we have a place. And if we can help others to feel that they have a place, we ourselves are going to feel more like we have a place. So it's going to help you as well. If you're thinking, no, I am that shy person that no one's talking to. I get that because I've been that before. Now I'm just the over nosy talker that won't shut up. But flip side, I have been that shy teenage person, that younger person that didn't feel that they were known or named or needed. Turned up anyway, and people would just ignore me. And it just, the ones that did talk to me, I remember them still and have so much respect for them as people. Just the most wonderful, kind people. Because they took time to call me by name, to know who I was, and to let me know that actually their life did need me in it. Even if they only saw me for a few minutes on a Sunday, their life still needed me in it. And that made a whole lot of difference to me. And I think that helped them as well. And it forms beautiful friendships. It really does. And how does Jesus let you know this about yourself? That you, from him, are known, named, and needed. How does he let you know that? Like, in what ways have you experienced that? Maybe think about that too. Good topic of discussion for a family come follow me lesson. Maybe share that with your kids or your partner or whoever else is around, maybe your flatmate or whatever you got going. Be ready to share that in sacrament meeting even, or at a talk. I don't know, just like, how does Jesus let you know that? Because it's really, really important. Now, Elder Gong, he said, remember, he knows all the things we don't want anyone else to know about us, and he loves us still. And it's so important. He really does. Christ knows everything about us, and he loves us anyway. And I don't know any human that knows everything about me and loves me anyway. I really don't. And you're thinking, oh, your parents do. And I'm like, no, they don't. They know a lot about me and they don't love me for that. So, yeah. It would be nice if you had parents like that. I'm very happy for you. I honestly am. But no, I don't. I don't have that. I have some family members that know a lot about me and love me completely. I'm very grateful for that. That helps me to know how it is with Christ and how it is with our heavenly parents. But only, really, only those three, through the knowledge of the Holy Ghost, do I know that they know absolutely everything about me. All the ugly bits, everything. And I'm named, and I'm definitely needed. And I'm like known that. I feel that every day. So that's where I'm at, and I'm just trying to grow that more. So have a look at that. Just the small account of Zacchaeus, and it's just a few chapters, a few verses on him. A guy that climbs a tree to be able to see Christ and gets noticed because of his effort. So if we can make that kind of effort, like again, we don't have to climb a literal tree. We can climb a metaphorical tree. It's about making the effort. There you go. All right. Hope you've enjoyed this week's Come Follow Me. We're looking at there's a few teachings next week that happen after the triumphal entry, before he gets arrested and before the Garden of Gethsemane. There's some teaching moments in there that is like a super concentrated teaching time of some quite intense lessons, but can actually really be broken down beautifully to relate to our day and us right now. So hang around for those next week. It's going to be super good stuff. I will see you there. I love you guys. Stay safe out there. And yeah, come follow me with Christ. Like honestly, do the Come Follow Me manual. Have a look at that book and just embrace it into your homes. And how excited are we next year that it's all just one manual? Kids, youth, adults, the lot. I think it's brilliant. Awesome stuff. Looking forward to it. But for the meantime, I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.